Hi, I'm CoyStites. I stream for PMA and I play mostly League of Legends. I'm a Leo, I'm a Barb. We can just blur that, right? I don't want to take it down. But my favorite games are League of Legends, Dragon Age, we have Dorian right here. I love and collect crystals, which you'll see on my stream. Sometimes I switch these out when I get a new one. But yeah, pretty much all about me. In a nutshell. I got into streaming because, well, I'm a COVID streamer, like a lot of new people are. I just had a lot of free time because I cut back on my days in the salon. I'm also a hairstylist. But yeah, I cut back on my days in the salon and I figured, you know, with all this free time, I might as well start streaming because I've always wanted to stream and I always thought I'd be good at it. But I just never really took the time to really go for it because I was so tunneled in on my hair career. But I had a lot of free time, so I chose to get into it, especially after I bought a bunch of ring lights. I think I bought 2 ring lights for OF. And when that ended up not really working out, I was like, let's put these ring lights to use. So that's what I decided to do. And I really love streaming. It's been really fun. Been really nice, so I'm into that. So PMA to me, basically, I got introduced to it through watching Miss Chim Chim, Reagan, and she was Team PMA, and I was like, what's that? What's a stream team? Like, I had no clue what any of it was. And then I basically was just like, I like every streamer that I know that's in PMA. Every time I would find a new streamer and I loved them, they were in PMA. So I was like, there's something going on here. And then I think if you played League of Legends, you know that it's one of the most toxic, horrible experiences playing solo queue. I shouldn't have to say, I play League of Legends, unfortunately. And unfortunately, that's kind of the reality of turning off my AC. And unfortunately, that's kind of the reality of playing League nowadays. I don't ever really have fun unless I'm playing with friends. And that's full T. So, pretty much, yeah. And I'm hoping that PMA is that stepstone to turning League of Legends into a more positive, fun community again. Because when I first started playing League of Legends in Season 4, you had your occasional rager, but it wasn't every game. And it's every game, all 4 members of your team. So it's got out of hand, and I don't think Riot does a good enough job of doing it themselves. So if us as streamers, as the examples, are just more positive and spread that message of positivity and it's a game, it should be fun, I think is also really cool. So I just love everything that they do and stand for, basically. And I'm happy to be a part of it. Before I started my streaming career, I was and still am a full-time hairstylist. That is what brings in the money, that's what pays the rent. That is what my end goal is to own a salon and educate across the country or world. Who knows? But yeah, I loved it. I pretty much was solely focused, tunnel visioned on my hair career, educating this, that. And doing so, one of my biggest accomplishments in my life is going self-employed at the age of right before I turned 20, so I was still 19. I had really, really horrible experiences with bosses and being an employee, so I chose to step away from that and become my own boss and see how it worked out. Luckily, I have a lot of support from my mother specifically, and she really was like, you know, if it doesn't work out, we're your safety net. So I was very lucky and very grateful to be able to go that mile of being self-employed, and I have been self-employed ever since, and I'm 23 now, so it's like 3 to 4 years strong, and it's amazing. I highly recommend it if you have the means and the opportunities. Being self-employed is amazing, but that's my biggest accomplishment. So the first game I ever played was, that I remember, is Pokemon Sapphire. I love Pokemon. It's such an amazing just an amazing game. I just love Pokemon so much. I kind of fell off it now because I like the more competitive aspect of League, and League doesn't really get old, whereas Pokemon can get a little boring. But Pokemon Sapphire, in the military, other families can become your family. So basically, they become your support system. And one of our military families, their eldest son gave me my Pokemon Sapphire game, and it started my whole hermit gaming lifestyle. And I'm obsessed. I started playing League Season 4 when Yasuo came out. I was a freshman in high school, and I've been playing ever since. I had like a year break when I played Overwatch, but I pretty much always come back to League. My other favorite games, though, are Dragon Age and Skyrim. The whole Dragon Age series, and then only Skyrim. I think Oblivion's a little too old for me. I don't like the graphics, but Skyrim. Those are like the kind of games that I vibe with, like the medieval magical sort of vibe. So gaming for me is a way to keep my hands busy. I am not diagnosed with anything, like who knows, but I just know that my hands have to stay busy, or else I start biting them. These are always moving. These are little phalanges that my camera's not really picking up that well. They're always moving. So gaming's a way to keep my hands busy, keep my mind busy, so I don't go deep into those like mental trenches when you're left too long alone with your thoughts. You know what I mean? So that's really nice. I get bored watching TV. I don't know. Gaming's something to do. And then I also, it's been such a huge part of my life. I have Soraka tattooed on me. This is inspired by Dragon Age. This is inspired by Ari. I have a leg tattoo inspired by Dragon Age 2. Like, gaming is my life. I know everything about the games that I play. Like, I become obsessed with it. And it also allowed me to meet some of the most amazing fucking people, like, ever. Like, I wouldn't live in the city that I live in if I didn't meet that person that I visited through gaming. And then I fell in love with the city and was like, oh, let me move here. So it's things like that, you know, gaming really does, like, I don't know, I just love it. It's my favorite thing to do. Of course. Mango and Myth Piece of Cakes. I mean, how could you not? They sort of created the whole PMA thing and starting the positive mental attitude, which, of course, we've talked about is, I think, iconic. But besides the obvious, probably like my favorite streamer to watch is Miss Chim Chim or Reagan. Her energy and just like her sense of humor is like right up my alley. Like I just like live for it. And then from a business perspective, I can tell that she works really, really hard on the business end as well with all her sponsorships and all that. And maybe that's a manager. I don't know her. I don't know her life, but everything she's doing with her stream, I'm watching it and being like, damn, she's doing a fucking good job. You know what I mean? Like, I just like admire her hustle, I admire her positivity, I admire her energy. She's almost tilt-proof as well, which is very admirable, in my opinion. And then, of course, I love Ilax too. Her stream's very different, but in such a lovely way. Watching Ilax most of the time, if she's not yelling at or for Kane, is like an ASMR experience almost. Like, she's so relaxing and so chill and like takes the game seriously, where like I can watch it or have it like in the background, and I don't know, it's much more relaxing to me, and I really enjoy that. And I also just like love her as a person, like, of course. I love KP as well. I think even though she works really closely with Riot, she doesn't really hold any punches criticizing the game, which I'm really into. I also love Big Boss Bose. She's like the only non-League streamer that I really watch that much. She went from League to True Crime. But weirdly enough, back when I was in high school, I was actually a mod for her when she was playing League for like 30, 40 viewers. And I've loved her literally ever since. I think she went to go on to like work with like Smosh and just like some amazing fucking things. So like seeing the growth of her, I'm just like, you know, I'm so proud of her. I'm so happy for her. So one of the causes, or many of the causes that are really important to me, is one, the wealth inequality in America. I think is very, very important to look into, because we're the only first world nation without healthcare. And I think that it's, to have healthcare be for profit, don't sit right with me. Also, I could go on for probably hours about race relations in America, but that's also something very, very important to me in the whole Black Lives Matter movement, not just with police brutality, but also with the prison system as a whole, as well as just so many other things. Discrimination with hair, discrimination with like, I mean, when I tell you I can literally go on for hours, like, It's really bad. I highly suggest following a bunch of either TikTok creators or Twitter pages, Instagrams that talk a lot about it, because that's a very, it's easier to digest than reading articles, in my opinion. And then you're also hearing firsthand accounts from like people of color as well. And I think hearing from their perspective is the only way to really do it. If you're if you're watching a white dude, me, talk about Black issues and then not going to Black creators or Black people and asking them that, or listening to their stories, you're not doing it right. But the most close to my heart, the more personal one for me, is the most like close to my heart though, like social cause, is anything LGBT. Of course, I mean that's literally like my family, like my community, my my people. So anything with them. But if we're getting specific, the trans community. If we're getting even more specific, the trans people of color community. And if we're getting even more specific, Black trans women. They're the most vulnerable of our community. They're the most at risk of our community as far as violence goes. And they're the most like discriminated against us in our community. Also, fun fact, they're the ones who started the movement, the modern gay rights movement, with Sylvia Rivera and Marsha P. Johnson. I actually did an entire Pride segment during Pride Month where I highlighted people that I thought needed more recognition, and Marsha and Sylvia were the first two that I thought of. Marsha P. Johnson threw the first brick at Stonewall. Sylvia Rivera threw the first Molotov cocktail, and they jump-started the gay rights movement in America, and they're the reason that I can sit here today and say I am gay and not have my door knocked down. They're the reason. So to turn our backs on them now that the cis white gays have our rights and we're not really that discriminated against is fucked up. So I think it's up to every single cis white person, cis white gay person, queer person, whatever, to be the front line for our Black and specifically our Black trans brothers and sisters. But the most important person in my life, this is going to sound egotistical, but myself. I thought I could add a little life lesson at the end here. If the most important person in your life is not yourself, you're living incorrectly, in my opinion. Some people believe that selflessness is how to live. I believe living selfishly to a degree is personally the way to live. And whatever you do for your own happiness shouldn't. No. If it does inhibit on someone else's happiness, you can't help that, but don't go out of your way. For me, I wouldn't have come out as gay, moved across the country, or done hair. The three things that I love most about myself or about my life, if I put others' happiness first. And RuPaul always says, I think his mama taught him this, the people that matter don't mind, and the people that mind don't matter. So think on it, sit on it, soak it in. That phrase right there kind of is kind of the way that I live, honestly. Put yourself first. Now don't go out of your way to be a little asshole, but put yourself first. Put your happiness first. Whatever you've been thinking about starting up or doing to make yourself happy, just do it. Just fucking do it. But thank you so much for watching. If you want to find me anywhere, all my links are in the little thingy below, as well as I'm gonna send 2 links to like organizations that I really like that are gonna be in the bio as well. But yeah, if you wanna check out my little hair business, that's on Instagram. Everything else is basically streaming, so TikTok, everything, that'll all be down here. As far as the other PMA streamers that we know and love, or if you want to introduce yourself to some new ones, that link is also down there. But yeah, like, comment, and subscribe, all those little YouTube things. And then yeah, I'll see y'all, I don't know, somewhere else later. Bye.